Susan asked, does living the lifestyle make it easier or harder for you to create the characters and the stories that you write about? I believe, Susan, that having lived and experienced it makes my stories true to life and much more engaging. It was definitely my heart when I started writing Bree to express the love and commitment and respect that goes behind DS relationship. It's you don't have to be a masochist. You don't have to be a sadist. You can be two people who just want to explore in different ways. And BDSM is so much more than whips and chains. And so that was my heart when I started writing. I wanted everyday people, everyday couples to understand the joy and fun that could be found in exploring BDSM together, with both people on board, communicating with each other, and doing the things that they enjoyed. Jessica asked, what was the first book that made you fall in love with literature? Can I talk about Where the Red Fern Grows again? Yeah, I really love that book. When I got older, I also loved Charles Dickens, John Steinbeck, Jack London. I really had a thing for the classics. I just love their description and just being able to disappear into a completely different world. And that's what I try and bring. Oh, I also love, science fiction. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm all about escaping into a new world. And that's how I write. If you read me, you're not going to read something you've read 100 times before. You're going to read something that is unique to my muses and me. And I definitely hope that you enjoy my storytelling. Elizabeth asked, do you practice any religion? You may be surprised to know that I am a follower of Christ, and I believe in his teachings. And one of his teachings is not to judge others. And I think that's where Christians often fail. But I love all people, and I'm open to all beliefs. This is the path that I have found. Anya asked, at what age did you first start noticing you had a gift for telling stories? Okay, this might be a little funny, but, I always loved to write, and I did it all the time as a child. But in my middle school years, I had a teacher who I wrote a story about a little chick that I adopted and raised to be able to fly off and live his life, and it was completely fiction. But I had written it in such a way that she thought that it was a true story. And I got chills when I read her comments that spoke that she thought it was real. I'm like, wow, maybe I can do this. And so, I took some classes in college and creative writing classes in college and wrote many stories, but I didn't consider myself a writer. It was something I did for my own enjoyment. And it wasn't until I had to leave teaching because of something that happened with my family. And I just did it for fun, but it was like this obsession. I couldn't get these stories out fast enough. And the whole indie thing was just beginning, and Smashwords and Amazon and iTunes were starting to allow authors to put their ebooks out for no money. You could do it for free. And it was exciting because all I wanted was people to read my stories. And I got so excited, when I had 100 people read my story. So it wasn't really until a couple of years into it, and I, was able to, consider it a career, that I actually considered myself a writer. Up until that point, I was just someone who loved to write. Sherry asks, do you use first-hand knowledge, research the hell out of stuff, or use what you have read as your muse for your writing? As I've said before, of course, as much as possible, I try and experience the things that I have written about. But, especially when I write about wolves or vampires and certain situations in BDSM, I'm going purely on either a muse telling me their story or deep research. I do not have much patience for authors who do not research what they write about. If you're going to talk about something, you ought to know about it. And even if you're writing about pure fantasy, you better have thought out that world. I don't have patience for holes in stories, and I don't have patience for laziness when it comes to your readers. You give them your best. And I think they respect that, and they can see that in your writing. Kristen asked, do you have a final goal or dream you want to achieve when it comes to writing? I have two. I would like my books to be in a freaking grocery store. I want to go to any grocery store and go, oh my gosh, there's a Red Phoenix book. I think that'd be so cool. I'd also, like my deepest desire would be that Brie would be on the small screen, and that it would be done in such a tasteful and amazing way, still sexy, still hot, but thoughtful and respectful, and that all people would be talking about it for years to come, because that that TV show just held their attention, was so sexy and hot, and taught them things along the way. Diane asked, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Well, I think it won't look anything like I think it will. My life has been nuts, and I would never have dreamed at all when I stopped my love, which was teaching, that I would find myself here now. And so I am not going to even guess. Let's just say I am going to give it all I'm worth, and I'm going to give it 100%. Follow my heart, and let's see where it heads and where it takes us. And this is the last question. Aaron asked, do you watch The Walking Dead? Yes, I do. It's quite humorous because I hate horror. I hate death. I hate blood. I hate all that stuff. I cannot watch a scary movie. I can't. It will haunt me forever. And I scream and I cry and I have to leave the room. But for some reason, I love The Walking Dead. I don't know if it's because they're zombies and I don't feel threatened by them, because, the likelihood of them coming in my house is 0. But I really enjoy The Walking Dead. It is my second favorite show, my first being Survivor. So anyway, that is it. I hope you enjoy it. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you again